welcome to the Tailgate Update Free Agency Extravaganza. I'm going to do a nice little rundown of each division and every move that was made. So shall we get started? All right, let's get started. Let's start up north in the AFC. Danger Russell Wilson, Steel City, let's weld. Signs a 1-year deal with the Steelers. Jay, you want to take the lead on this one?
No, he doesn't. I definitely am going to. I mean, get it together. Okay. As a long-term Seahawks fan, obviously this is mine. It feels weird because I had to get confronted in person by the terrible towel holders defeating us. And so now he's there, but so it burns a little extra, I think. But I don't hate it. I don't hate the Steelers. No one does. I love that for him because how they treated him was not great. So, like, I'm really hoping that he gets what he deserves. Mike Tomlin is amazing. So, love that for him. I think he has a lot of potential there, and I think it'll look a lot different than his time with the Broncos and hopefully more like his younger self. He is 36. I realize that, and that's getting on. But so he's got hopefully a few more good years. He will have it without Pickett because he got upset that they were gonna have allegedly what I heard is that they were gonna have the like training camp showdown to see who was gonna start, which I thought, as I tweeted yesterday, was completely disrespectful that you would even imply that a Hall of Fame quarterback would somehow compete with Pickett. He's like 2 years off the draft. Could not even fathom it. Obviously, when that got taken off the table, Pickett was no longer interested. So whatever. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what Russell Wilson does there. I'm now a Steelers fan. Was not expecting that transition. But here we are. And so like I'm pumped because I love him wherever he goes. And so like and this one actually, and he reminded us all that he had a lot of different teams he could have signed with because Russell Wilson's like, I'm not a side piece for nowhere. So love that. Love the confidence. So I'm here for it. Let's go. Let's go Steelers. I'll get a yellow towel or something.
You gotta get that. You're still going Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. Yeah, urinating tree. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're gonna start that. It's a good deal for Steel Nation. Let's ride. But yeah,
and they're
like the
paying
deal,
like $2 million or something, and the Broncos are footing the rest of the bill because the Broncos are the Broncos.
Exactly that, and like I thought, like at first he was gonna be the stopgap QB to at least push Pickett to be the future starter at training camp, which was initially the plan. Then Pickett got like basically annoyed and asked for a trade. So like that raises a question of like what Steelers going to do for next year then. Like, okay, what if Russ does well? Okay, we're gonna probably extend it. If he doesn't, then like okay, we're gonna throw him out and we're gonna start again.
Yeah, and he's only got a few years no matter what, even if he does do well. So maybe they're planning on drafting someone, but they will need another backup even if they do draft someone. So
yeah,
we'll see. It'll be another news moment, I'm sure. Who they put behind him.
Big news, baby.
All right, Ryan, what's the next one?
T. Higgins demanding a trade from Cincinnati.
Demanding trades has not seemed to be a wise choice.
Higgins wants to be a wide out one. Like that's what I get. That's what I get from it. It's like he wants to be paid top money. In which I'm like, at the last season, you can see why he does the spectacular plays. He helped. He's a key reason why the Bengals offense was vocal along with Chase Brownie and everyone else trying to like keep that ship afloat after Burrow went down. But yeah, like it's gonna be a loss for the Bengals, but like they're trying to save up for the Jamar Chase extension. That's what I see. That's what I see. And he's probably going to get traded to either Dallas or somewhere else where they need a wide receiver one. So yeah,
Jay, what's
they're
your
probably going to
take
get a
on
nice
it?
haul.
I'm agreeing with that. If you can't be a number one in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow throwing to you, that's a short list of people that might be better than him. Maybe 3, 4, 5 people at most. So where is he going to go to where he's going to be in a better situation? Maybe like Jordan was saying, maybe he just thinks the money situation is not in his favor. He wants to be in a better spot that way.
Yeah, maybe he don't care who's throwing it as long as he gets to be wide receiver one.
That makes sense.
It does. It does. Yeah. I mean, priorities are different for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, what's the next one? Feed us.
Zach Moss is going to Cincinnati for 2 years on an $8 million contract to replace Joe Mixon.
Mm.
Him and Chase Brown are going to be a decent duo. Like Moss they're all right. They're right in Indy last year. In Indy last year, and like they're trying to rebuild their running game because Mixon besides a couple of decent years, like he wasn't really worth it to Cincy.
And
At least that's
some
what I get from him.
controversy that would earn him a spot in our true crime segment. So like that could be a liability that they theoretically might not want.
They won't pay him. It's the running back situation. They don't want to pay running backs.
Well, none of that. They're trying to save up for the Chase extension.
Mm-hmm.
They just gave Burrow a shit ton of money. I mean, come on.
Yep.
They can't pay Mixon. They're not going to be able to pay Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
Boyd is up. So, yeah, they downgraded at running back, in my opinion, but who cares? That's I don't get paid for my opinion.
Exactly. They don't pay us to be GMs. They don't pay us to be scouts.
Amen.
Right. All right. Jameis Winston heading up to Cleveland from Tampa. Or sorry, not Tampa. New Orleans. Excuse me. New Orleans.
As a New Orleans Saints by proxy fan, this is absolutely mine again. I think Winston won the hearts and minds of New Orleans like tremendously by showing up at all of the parades this last Mardi Gras season. We love that. I think the city is sad that he left, and because no one has even a drop of respect for Dennis Allen, that seemed to actually be a boost for Winston's career to have his moment of insubordination. I am one of those people who loved it, so it's sad to see him go, but it's not surprising because any semblance of Dennis Allen ever hoping to even get a modicum of the locker room back wouldn't be there if he had his like opposition there. So I get that. And can't wait to see what he does. Winston is forever a New Orleanian though. In our hearts. Jay, what do you think about it?
What I was thinking about was from the football standpoint, any kind of offense that you were building for Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston would probably work in it. They're both athletic. They're both scrambling. Neither one of them are known for like the deep pass. The kind of offense you build for Deshaun Watson would probably work with Jameis Winston coming off the bench.
Love that.
Good point, Jay. I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Famous Jameis, baby. Most illegal touches in the Cleveland training staff. Yeah, like it's basically what Jay was talking about. Like game plan wise, he's going to work out well, but also Deshaun Watson is probably going to get hurt by like around week 6 or 8 because he's been having having injury issues, and like he also has not performed what they given him. So they're trying. So Cleveland's trying to do everything they can to like at least salvage like that contract in the quarterback situation, and also like they're going to be in cap hell. So like they're basically trying to do everything they can
Mm.
to at least make to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was wondering when exactly Watson would get hurt next season because it just seems like lately he's just constantly hurt in some way, shape or form. So, and you got Nick Chubb coming back too. So,
Love that.
so
Hopefully his knee stays in the correct directions and not defying gravity again.
yeah, that was disgusting. Speaking of running backs, King Henry is heading up to Baltimore from Jay's Tennessee Titans.
This one's
On
mine
a-
too. No, I'm
on
just
a
kidding, Jay.
2 years,
Yeah.
2 years, $16 million to play in the same backfield as Lamar Jackson.
It's great for Baltimore. As an X division rival, I hate that he goes to the Ravens. I think it's the right time for the Titans because realistically, this year is not going to be their year. So we'll talk about later Tony Pollard coming to take his slot, but they needed someone younger and someone that's would be a good every down back as opposed to they already have Tajay Spears, who took a lot of the carries from Henry this year. So they were kind of phasing him out this past year. He wasn't hurt that much, but you definitely could tell the last 2 and 3 years he'd lost a step, and they need to rebuild for 2 or 3 years from now, not for next year.
My question with it is though, is he going up there for health stability reasons? Because Lamar is capable of running a ball if he needs to. They got Gus Edwards. So is it a health
No,
thing?
Gus Butts is out. Gus Butts is gone.
Is he?
Yeah, Chargers.
Oh, I must have missed that. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that he was on his way out anyway. Henry was, and so this was just. I believe if he would come back on 1 year deal, they might have taken him. But for a 2 and 3 year deal at that amount of money, they needed someone who was younger and more dependable right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah, for me, Ravens they're basically trying to make them try to make a Super Bowl this year, and like they hope Derrick Henry get at least some of that King Henry step back, like at least get some of that form back for when they get to the playoffs. Like that's what I see. Like that, and the run, and they're very dependent on the run game, so he fills that need.
And Baltimore always has a really good defense, regardless of talent. So they really just need to have the offense stay at a high level, or at least be able to fight through those adversity games, and like they weren't able to do in the championship game this year. So
yeah.
Speaking of defensive Ravens players, Patrick Queen's leaving. He's heading over to Pittsburgh on a 3-year, $41 million contract.
Nice.
Jay,
that linebacker core. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just say, Jay, you want to take the lead on that?
No. What Jordan said pretty much is that they're getting stronger on the defense with Pittsburgh. So after last year, they do need all the help that they can get. They were just
exactly.
It was one of the first 9 good defensive years for Pittsburgh in a while.
Yeah, but that linebacker core was destroyed by injuries last year, so they needed linebackers.
They need someone that's going to pair well with TJ Watt, and they need someone that's going to be able to help Cam Hayward, in the middle on those blitz packages.
Exactly. Like Holcomb got hurt. A ton. Like they were signing a ton of linebackers from the couch, like during later parts of the season because of injuries. So, yeah, I agree with it.
All right, sticking with the North theme, up in the North Pole. We got Green Bay Packers signing Josh Jacobs and releasing Aaron Jones all in the same breath. To which Aaron Jones responds by signing a 1-year deal with Minnesota. What do you guys think about that?
Tom
Peak
Grossi had
pettiness.
actual, like, I thought that was gonna break him mentally. I really did.
Packer fans are hard to break, but peak pettiness. I love it. I love it. Green Bay improves on running back because Jacobs it's a pretty damn good back, but I just love how petty players are now. Like I love it. Like Green Bay, I like the deal. They improve on the running game. They also improve on defense by signing McKinney, which we could talk about later. But like, I just love the pettiness in division rivals. I love it.
Jay, what do you think?
I'm agreeing with what you said. I mean, Jacobs 2 or 3 years ago was really, really highly rated. And Aaron Jones this year, he didn't seem to do as much. But like Jordan was saying, it's like there's a lot of these moves in a division this year, which you didn't used to see 3, 4, 5 years ago as much.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago Bears. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jordan. Finish up what you're gonna say.
No. But yeah, the Packers are trying to get to the division. Like they improved on secondary by signing McKinney. They got some other guys from like I think they also signed some other people, but like yeah, like they're trying to win the division this year. And if I'm a Packers fan, I love it.
Well, the Packers really overperformed last year with the talent level they had on offense. They were one of the youngest teams in the league, and they went into Dallas and punched them in the mouth. Probably should have beat San Francisco in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But, for some reason, Jordan Love wanted to throw across his body 50 yards downfield into the arms of Drake Greenlaw. But
Daniel Carlson, baby. Daniel Carlson, baby. No, not Anders Carlson, baby.
Yeah.
Danny's little brother.
Chicago Bears are signing DeAndre Swift to a 3-year, $24.5 million contract with $15 million guaranteed. They also just signed Coleman Shelton to play center for him. That's going to really open up the run game. So, I mean, Swift. Who else they got for running back? Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
That's why I mean, all the time Caleb was like, "Nah, I'm not going to do it today, guys."
Oh, yeah.
But like, like they got like Rashad, like they got Deontay Foreman, they got Swift, I think they also still have Herbert. But yeah, like I love the Bears offseason this year. They are literally improving. Like, and we're probably going to talk about this later, but I love the base move. We're going to talk about Keenan Allen. And yeah, they're preparing for like not an all-in move, but they're not going all in. But I love to see. I think they're going to be in the playoffs this year. Yeah, if everything goes right.
Yeah, the Bears have really made a lot of decent offensive moves this offseason. You mentioned the Keenan Allen deal. That was a steal from the Chargers. I mean, a 4th rounder for a top 10 wide receiver in the league. Wow. Wow. Did not see that coming at all.
He was getting older. He was getting older, but that's hilarious. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, you normally see a 2nd rounder, even though he's aging. Yeah, it's crazy. Detroit Lions, however, are making some moves in the front office. They just extended Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell through the 2027 season after a NFC Championship appearance. So, congratulations for them.
Their best GM and head coach for a long time. Also, they signed TJ Reader, and they traded for Carlton Davis. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking they might win. They could win the division again, but who knows? But my goodness, Detroit.
They're rolling. they would be making a terrible decision if they did not keep Dan Campbell. Like, I mean, it's of no surprise, I think, to most of us that they
Their best
that
head
they
coach,
have
best head
secured him.
coach.
He's the best thing, like Jordan said, he's the best thing they've had in a very long time. So
Yeah. I mean, Dan Campbell is probably the greatest Lions coach of all time at this point. After a short stint in Detroit.
Yeah, he has flaws.
He has flaws. He has flaws just like every coach, but his flaws are bigger than others because they're more magnified. Because of the fact of he just did something in the NFC Championship game that no one usually does in the NFC Championship game against that team. You know. Yeah, so that leads me to this right here, this question. I'll just leave it out in the air for everybody. Jared Goff, do you think he's actually played his way into the heart of Dan Campbell and into staying in Detroit?
He played hard 2 years ago. He played his way in staying 2 years ago.
Did he?
Yeah.
Because there was talks that he was going to be the bridge quarterback to a new.
Like Goff is one of the better bridge quarterbacks. But I do think Detroit is going to try and do something with him, trying to see if they have something with Hendon Hooker. But Goff has 2-3 more years. Like that's their window right now. That's Detroit's window right now. To at least 2-3 years.
yeah, Dan Campbell is not someone that I would associate with a lot of like traits like
a lot of shadiness.
I wouldn't say he doesn't have a loyalty, but I wouldn't say that I would count on being in a warm and snuggly place with a guy like Dan. And so I would never rely on being anywhere near his heart, except for if he has a significant other. So I wouldn't say that Goff should ever feel that confident, because I think Dan would probably sacrifice something if it meant that they won the championship, and it could be something far more than Goff. But what do you think, Jay? What do you think?
I've got some personal knowledge on this because Hendon Hooker came from University of Tennessee. So I watched him for like a couple years. And he would have been a top 10 or 15 pick if he hadn't had that catastrophic
injury.
Yeah.
I remember that injury.
It was awful. You were like, well, this guy will play football again, kind of injury. If he comes back fully healthy, Goff might have something to worry about, because, I mean, LA got rid of him for a reason a couple years ago to trade him to Detroit. They were like, they were done with it. So, and the other thing is, when you give a GM a 3-year extension, if I'm a player, I get nervous, because that means that their contract is longer than your contract.
Oh,
so I wouldn't be surprised if they took a big swing, if not in this year's draft, maybe next year's draft, to get like a new top guy for Goff.
Well, yeah. I mean, in my mind, they have a pretty big pool of draft picks that they can kind of turn into a Matthew Stafford type of deal. Send them elsewhere to bring in someone else, and send Goff with them. I mean, it could happen
2 times, baby.
It could happen to him twice if we're thinking about it. If he
exactly,
I respect Jared Goff more than anything in the world. Playing with 9 fingers up in Seattle, going to Green Bay, and hanging with Aaron Rodgers for a while, that earns respect. Just shortly after getting thumb surgery, respect. Okay, but it was time for him to get out of LA, and I was not sure that I was ready for that as a fan, because I'd been there with Jared. Jared was part of the reason why the Rams culture turned around, and my fandom, because all I known was losing, really, as a Rams fan.
It was mostly McVay. That's the thing. It was mostly McVay.
Yeah, he was part of the process, is what I'm saying. He looked like someone who could play. But 2019, 2020, he looked like someone who did not know how to play. You know what I mean? So realistically, if he has the praise from Dan Campbell and the approval from the GM, he could become complacent again. Because people did say he became complacent in LA. And if he does that again, I have no doubt that Dan Campbell would not shit can him out the door, and Brad Holmes would not send him away with a pick package for someone better. It could happen to him twice. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
So I don't think he's a bridge right now. I think he's going to stay in Detroit, but there is that possibility he could be that piece that gets traded again. All right, let's move on to the AFC East.
Wait, Keenan Allen, baby. I love it. No, wait. I don't think we talked about. No, we talked bits of it, but like I want to get into the Keenan Allen deal.
All right.
Keenan the Bears Allen are making some moves. I love it. I love personally. They're finally improving offensively for Justin Field and or Caleb Williams. Like if you're gonna draft a QB, this is the time. Like you're improving your offensive line, you're improving your offensive weapons. You have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen at your wide receiver 1 and 2. You have decent tight ends. This might be it feels like they're gonna draft Williams, and like with Fields' trade value going down, I think they might keep him, and like they're gonna use the clipboard to help Caleb Williams learn football, something that Chicago isn't really well known for. Develop a quarterback. Use the clipboard. Like
I like it.
This is their time.
The problem, so just let me cut you off there for a second, Jordan. The problem being with Justin Fields, he was thrown to the fire real quick. He was drafted, said, "You're the starter guy. You're the one that's going to turn this around. Have fun. This is what we got. This is what you're going to be able to do." Everybody's going to write him off as a bust because, well, he has nobody to throw to. They gave him someone to throw to, but they gave an offensive coordinator and head coach that didn't want to throw it on field to him. We saw a glimpse of it against Washington. He shredded Washington. Did he not?
Yeah, Washington's bad. Exactly.
Well, still, Fields was able as a bust, man.
He's not a bust.
Supposed to be bad. Fields is supposed to be bad, according to a lot of people. I personally, I don't have the trust in him. I think he gets one more year, and then if he does not improve, he's gone. But, he didn't have to sit behind a Peyton Manning. He didn't have to sit behind a Tom Brady. He didn't have that luxury of the clipboard like you're talking about. So,
exactly.
Just wanted to say that, and, you can continue with your point. But he didn't have that luxury, which is why
I agree with that.
Which is why he is the way he is. So
no, Ryan, I agree with you.
yeah, I'm just saying.
I do think they're if they're gonna draft Williams, they're gonna keep Fields and to at least give him one more year. Give him one more year. Have Williams and Bagent as the backups, and see. Hey, this is your chance, man. Gotta do it.
Were people thinking Bagent was better than Fields at one point? Because he was firing it for a couple of weeks, and people were like, "Oh man, this guy's actually good."
A couple of weeks against who?
I don't remember what the schedule was, but he was firing it, and people were thinking he was like, "Oh, this is the guy that's gonna take Fields." I'm like, "All right,
good luck with that, buddy."
Okay, buddy. But
it was against I think it was against the
I think it was against the Vikings they did it, but
no,
Jay,
he won against the
Jay, let's go with you, man. What's going on in your head with this Keenan Allen trade?
I'm agreeing with everybody that it's basically a Caleb Williams move. I mean, he's talking awful big for someone. I mean, in the SEC, as we say, from the West Coast, to be saying where he is or is not going to go to in the NFL. But the Chicago's done a bunch of moves, more moves than I've seen Chicago ever do to try to beef up their offense to make it look like it's a good place to come.
Yeah.
So
It makes sense. Yeah. So you guys are saying instead of going with Marvin Harrison Jr. as their top pick, they're going to go with Caleb Williams?
They have to.
I can't see, going for a receiver. You can find a receiver.
Exactly.
A guy like Marvin Harrison Jr.?
You can't pick a
In the
receiver
draft.
number one.
Are you sure?
Ryan,
Yes,
sure?
I'm positive. I'm
You-
positive of that.
Didn't Calvin Johnson go one for Detroit back in 2007?
Because who else was there? That's the thing. Like,
They should have went quarterback then, right? Jordan's so
Who
confused.
did they pick him over in 2007?
Who they-
17
who they
years
pick him
ago.
over?
I do not know.
And I don't remember who they picked him
Exactly.
over.
Okay, well then I can't compare. I mean, he became Megatron, right?
He was Megatron before he got to the NFL. I mean, he was tearing it up at Georgia Tech.
Okay, well then they're justified. They were justified, but I don't think
no,
you can do
Jamarcus.
Marvin
Wait,
Harrison
that was
Jr.
Johnson. Jamarcus Russell was the first overall pick in that draft.
Yeah,
He wasn't.
so
He was number
Like-
2.
He was number 2.
Okay, that makes sense.
yeah,
Oakland's
it-
also thinking we can't pick a wide receiver, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. The
Like-
first quarterback off the board was Jamarcus, and he lasted 3 seasons and was gone. Then it was Calvin Johnson, Joe Thomas, Gaines Adams, Levi Brown, LaRon Landry, Adrian Peterson, Jamal Anderson, Ted Gitt Jr., Okoye, Patrick Willis. There wasn't another quarterback picked all the way up until pick number 22 with Brady Quinn.
Exactly. Like, that quarterback draft was weak. This draft class is very strong.
strong, right?
Is it? Because all I'm
Yes.
seeing is okay. All right, I'll take your word for it.
3 or 4 at the top. I'm not saying
Mhm.
it's strong all the way through,
Yeah.
but there's
Mhm.
3 or 4 quarterbacks I would pick before Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Do they need it though?
3 teams are hungry.
Chicago,
Chicago,
Chicago
yes.
need it. Do they
Yes.
need it?
Washington, yes.
they need it.
Okay.
Who would throw it to Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently Fields right now. A lot of Bears fans are loving Fields right now.
They're helping
Damn it.
helping that hopium, baby.
Man, we need Caleb right now. We need Caleb to be back, bro. He would chime in real good on this one.
He's
I'm
helping the
not
hopium.
advocating for Justin Fields staying in Chicago. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying he's there now.
Mm-hmm.
Give him one more year.
Give
Give him one more year with weapons.
No,
Draft Marvin Harrison
Ryan,
Jr.
I agree with you. One more year and he's in. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just saying don't waste it on Caleb Williams when you don't possibly need it. And there's a lot of people saying Caleb Williams shouldn't go number 1. A lot of people are looking at JJ McCarthy.
No.
All right. All right. That's
yeah,
the North.
That's
Shaq Barrett
that's the North, baby.
going
That's the
across
North.
the state
That's the
of
North. Let's go to the
Florida
AFC Beast.
to Miami for 1 year on a $9 million deal. Anything?
I'm probably gonna take this one because I have this and Kendall Fuller. Like,
Okay.
Miami is desperate. Like,
Desperate.
they lost a lot of key defenders. Like,
They're desperate. Okay.
Yeah, they're
hear you.
desperate. Like, they
I hear
lost
you.
they lost Wilkins. They had to call a lot. They got call a lot of fat. Barrett, I think he'll do fine along with Fuller. But it feels like they're just they're just a little desperate to make it to the Super Bowl because they have all this offensive firepower. It got frozen in Kansas City. Like, it looks really desperate.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
That's funny.
that's Miami to me right now. Like,
I wouldn't say they're desperate.
Anyone
I'd say I wouldn't say that Miami's desperate. I'd say that they're trying to hold on to contendership, but they've never actually been
that's
contenders.
desperate.
No, they ain't desperate. That is not desperate. They're trying to hold on to contendership, but they've never actually been contenders. They've been a really good regular season team who chokes the last month of the season. They're the Arizona Cardinals of the AFC. Do you agree?
No, they're the Vikings. No, they're the Vikings.
You sure? So all right. You know how since Kyler Murray's been in the league, Arizona does really, really good.
Because
Or
Cliff Kingsbury was there.
right, and then they'd falter at the end of the season. Kyler
Because that was
disappears.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Kyler disappears after COD comes out. Call of Duty comes out and Kyler disappears. That's basically what Miami's been doing for 2 years. Miami disappears in December. January they
exactly.
just they go bye-bye. They're nowhere to be found.
They freeze. Once
Yeah.
it gets cold, they're like dolphins. They're like this. Oh no, I'm out. Peace.
2 years in a row they've had a chance to lock up the division, and they let Buffalo come back in and steal it.
Yeah.
2 years in a row they've gone on the road in the cold and sucked. They have stunk it up on the road in primetime playoff contention, in primetime playoff slots.
I'm not defending
That's all
Miami, but injuries.
Well, every team has injuries at this point. At that point in the season,
that's why I say I'm not
What do you
defending.
do with it?
Like it's injuries, like key
Right.
defensive injuries.
yeah, like you just gotta find a way to get around it. you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, Jay, what do you think?
I mean, any kind of defensive help from Miami. I mean, didn't they put up 70 in a game last year, and they
Oh.
still didn't make the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they put
I
up
mean,
70.
that's an incredible
No.
amount of points to put up on a team, and then your defense isn't good enough to get you through the last part of the season, as Jordan was saying. So, any kind of defensive move for a team like that would be good.
Yeah, they put up 70 against Denver. So
That was the funniest day. That was a fun day for me.
I couldn't believe it when I saw that. But anyways, yeah. Shaq Barrett, Kendall Fuller, they really need to help. They needed help on that defensive side, definitely. I think they should kind of get another weapon for Tua to throw to. What do you think? No, you don't think so? They have a really good running game. Really good running game. But their defense is a little suspect, and I'm not liking their wide receiver core outside of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Because right now their offense is screw it, Tyreek's down there somewhere and just chuck it up.
Yeah, Wall got hurt a couple of times. I think they could address that in the draft, but
could be, yeah. But let's move on to the Jets.
Oh God, no!
They extended linebacker C.J. Mosley for 2 years, $17.25 million. Good for CJ. I think CJ deserves that quite a bit. Other than being hurt the last 2 years, off and on, he's been pretty damn solid for the Jets.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, it's that they're trying to fix our offensive line. They just signed Tyron Smith yesterday. Like, they're trying to fix all these. They're trying to fix all these holes and trying to go all in.
Wait, hold on. The Jets signed Tyron Smith?
Yes.
I missed that. I can't believe that.
That's why I put the notifications on.
I have them on too. I have not been getting anything from ESPN, man. I'm a little upset with ESPN.
That's why I get my information from Ari. Like, that's what the Jets are trying to retool on the spot, and I feel like something's gonna go horribly wrong.
It can happen.
That's what I always feel with Jets. It can.
Yeah, it can. I mean, the Rams did it last year. Tampa Bay did it last year. It can be done. You can do on the spot. So
yeah, but Aaron Rodgers literally got hurt in 4 freaking plays.
Well, Aaron Rodgers fully healthy, right?
Achilles injury.
He's come back healthy though, right?
At 40?
He's 38. Come on now.
Yeah.
Hey, if Joe Flacco could come off his couch and play decent for 6 weeks and win comeback player of the year, so can Aaron Rodgers.
Because he had the great defense. I think the Jets, but still, I don't think the Jets are a good roster constructively. It's just I feel like something could go horribly wrong. because my brother has seen this team for years.
Yeah, I hear you. It's the
And-
Jets, so they're always gonna have something go wrong with them. They're gonna jet.
Exactly.
Jay, you want to chime in here, and then we'll go to Julie.
Yeah, go to Julie. I don't have anything on this one.
Oh, okay. Julie, what's up? Anything?
Yeah, I have nothing to add.
Nothing to add for CJ Mosley. Oh man,
Yeah.
he's an underrated linebacker, I think.
Very good.
But
We've spent too much time talking about him already.
I guess Curtis Samuel landing in Buffalo on a 3-year, $30 million deal with $15 million guaranteed. Are you in or out on this contract?
He's a replacement from Gabe Davis. Big game Gabe Davis, baby. And
he's actually more versatile than Gabe, actually.
Exactly. But yeah, Buffalo's desperate. They they're more desperate than Miami. They're trying they cut a lot of fat. They cut a lot of defensive pieces, which they might need to address in the draft. And even then, a lot of their first round picks haven't really panned out in the last couple of years. So yeah, Buffalo, they need to make it to a Super Bowl or Brandon Bean's gone. Sean McDermott, he can rant about 9/11 with the pink slip.
Yeah, Jay, come at us, man. What do you got?
Everything I hear more negative about Buffalo from the Buffalo fans than I do from anybody else. It seemed like the last 2 or 3 years they've just been inexplicably not able to get over the finish line. And you can say it's Kansas City, but you can also say maybe it's just the Bills. Just cannot get it.
It's the mixture
together.
of themselves, Sean McDermott. His defenses have been falling apart in the playoffs. You saw in 13 seconds. You saw it against Cincinnati, in which I thought that was their chance, but they blew it.
And Allen played like shit that game too against Cincinnati.
Exactly. Yeah. And last year, that was right too. It just keep getting worse and worse.
Okay, to be fair, they were playing
like
30-mile-an-hour wind. To be fair, they were playing a 30-mile-an-hour wind, so Tyler Bass gets a little pass in the wide right, but it's definitely haunting as
yeah.
Oh, stop it, Jordan! It excuses it.
No. I'm not. No. It's that DeMar doing a fake pump with DeMar Hamlin. Most of your linebackers getting hurt, in which you desperately need them. That Stephon Diggs missing, dropping a wide open pass.
Oh, Diggs,
and
yeah.
I think it was another drop pass by one of the Bills, and Josh Allen missing some crucial throws.
Yeah,
the second down one, I was like, "What are you doing?" And the one to Gabe, it was to Shakir. It was just that one. They say they practiced it, but
yeah, I hear you there.
Brutal.
So I think it's a decent signing to pair up with Stephon Diggs. Yeah. He's going to be a decent replacement for Gabe Davis because he's more versatile, in my opinion. Yeah, so now they just need to fix their defense because a lot of guys are gone. Now let's hop over to the NFC East. The Giants are making some splashes this offseason. The Giants have signed guard John Runyon to a 3-year, $30 million deal with $17 million guaranteed, and they traded for linebacker Brian Burns, sending a 2024 second and a 2025 fifth round pick to Carolina. And they doubled down by extending him for 5 years worth $150 million with $87.5 guaranteed. So, Jordan, I'll let you take the lead on this since you're a big old Giants fan.
Woo! Oh, I'm waiting for this. The Giants, they're signing offensive line depth. Their offensive line was god awful. They're signing Justin Pugh off the couch. So they needed this. They needed to fix that line for years.
Yeah.
Andrew Tomic has some injury issues. John Michael Schmidt, he had a couple injury issues. Evan Neal isn't really developing as like a right tackle because he's mostly left tackle. And we try to move him right, and then like it hasn't been working out. We might need to place him we might need to move around the guard to try and help him out there, because I personally want offensive line in the draft. Like I want Joe Alt. Like he at 6, because like you can't like don't give me Malik Neighbors at 6 because because again, we have a lot of holes in the offense, like because our wide receivers haven't been really developing. We basically released Isaiah Hodgins. Don't give me offensive weapons, but you can't even protect your quarterback. Like, just don't.
I hear that.
Don't
I hear that.
And if I see your JJ McCarthy's name, I'm probably gonna have a rage fit.
Well,
like,
you gotta think about this too, Jordan.
Don't reach for.
You gotta think about this. Daniel Jones is probably out. Like he's not that guy. They're gonna have to upgrade at some point, and they're gonna have to draft somebody.
No, Ryan, no, seriously, no, Ryan.
They're gonna have to. They might reach in this draft.
The guy. He's not the guy.
At this point,
you're kidding me,
dude.
I'm being sarcastic.
Jordan,
I'm being sarcastic.
At this point, you gotta upgrade a little, and I think JJ McCarthy might be better.
He's basically he's a project QB. He's basically Daniel Jones, but a little shorter. Like he barely did nothing in the Natty. He did nothing. Nothing.
He did pretty well in the Natty.
He was 10 for 18. That's nothing.
Okay, 10 for 18. How many touchdowns did he throw? He didn't throw any touchdowns?
No.
It
was mostly the run game and defense. But like, yeah, if he's still in the second round, awesome. We're probably gonna get him or Bo Nix, late second round picks, awesome. But moving on from that catastrophe, from that buffoonery, Brian Burns, love it. Potential ship record for the defense, love it. It's gonna give a lot of leeway to Ojuari. It's gonna help stop the run game, because he was mostly used as a linebacker for Carolina. But like he could be a great edge rusher. He's a great edge rusher. It's been proven that way. He's gonna pair well with Thibodeau, who's improving greatly, and Dexter Lawrence, who's one of the best defensive tackles in the league right now. I love it. Carolina, you basically gave us one of your better defenders from a bag of chips.
Yeah, like, they wouldn't give him our second round.
Exactly. You devalue him. You could trade him for 2 first rounders, and I think a second, but
they would not trade him whatsoever in 2022. Then this offseason, they're like, "Oh, just give us 2 draft picks and you're good."
Exactly. I love it. Love the trade. But it feels like they're preparing for 2 years instead of next year, in which this is an evaluation year. And again, if Jones does poorly again, we're cutting him. We gotta come take, like, because we basically signed him for 2 years. Basically, like, doesn't do well this year, cut him. Take that dead cap. I don't care.
Yeah,
I want to see that derp again in my life.
Okay, let's see here. What's next in the NFC East? Saquon ditches New York for Philly. 3 years, $37.5 million. Could be worth up to $46 million plus $26 million guaranteed. Saquon. Julie, since you want to take the lead on this one?
No.
Do you want to chime in maybe on Saquon leaving New York?
I need to take the lead on this.
Everybody was surprised.
Well, wasn't he I'm so loyal to New York and all that? Like,
he wanted to stay in New York, yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I'm going to take the lead on this.
All right, go ahead, Jordan.
We could sign him a couple years ago. Like, he was trying to find. He was basically he got his worth. Like 46 million. There's like he got his worth. Like, what else could I say? Like that relationship was broken last year when they when they tagged him. Like I
Yeah,
knew it was inevitable he was gonna be gone. Like all the heroes like, oh, I'm loyal. What else you're gonna say in the press conference? I was like, yeah, I'm pretty pissed that like the team that drafted me second overall, that I literally nearly broke I broke my gosh darn legs for just basically tagged me for $1 million. Are you kidding me? $10 million. You kidding me? Come on. Like
yeah. Then he held out for like a few $1,000s more.
exactly. I'll hold up too. Like you signed white mediocrity Daniel Jones to a 4-year contract worth 180 million for like I'll be pissed too. I'll be mad too. Like that
Amen.
relationship like the relationship was
Yeah,
broken. Like I
definitely.
knew he was gone. Like it was gone, but like the fact that he went to Philly legitimately made me a little mad. But then again, like it's life, man. It's life, man. Go get your money. And if
It
I hear
also
no, you
no,
go
go ahead. You
go.
finish. Go ahead and finish, Jordan.
Oh, sorry. Okay. And if I hear from Tiki Barber, Tiki, you retired. You retired before the Giants won the Super Bowl.
Mm.
Like you literally were like talking all this stuff about like, oh my goodness, Eli and the culture. Oh my God. The year after they won a Super Bowl. Hey, you want to say you're dead to me? My man's. Sit down. Sit down.
Yeah, co-signing
Oh
that.
man, Jordan's coming out here with shots at former players. Man, wow. He's coming out here like on a talk show. Like, oh, you want to talk something to me? I told you, Julie. We need Mario here.
I'm trying to think who else that was in pretty big social media came for Tiki Barber this week. There's another sportscaster. I'm trying to think of who it was, and I can't. But a lot of people have been telling Tiki to sit down. So
Yeah.
He wasn't even
Yeah,
that
like
good of a player, to be honest. In my
I'm not
mind,
trying to say all that, but
got overshadowed by his
stay in your
brother.
lane.
if I was gonna take a barber, it'd probably be his brother, Rondé.
No, go to
I
the
got
barbershop before Tiki.
that's
And the only Tiki I like it's Tiki contest.
Oh God, Jay, what do you think about this betrayal of Saquon Barkley to the Giants?
Well, I mean, they made a money move for him last year, and this year he made his money move. So kind of evened out.
Mm.
I suppose so. And my thinking is, you tag me, you wouldn't pay me. I busted my ass for you. You didn't give me an offensive line. You didn't give me a decent quarterback. I've been to the playoffs never, right?
One time.
One time you've been in the playoffs? Oh, yeah, last year, sorry. Been to the playoffs one time. We won a playoff game, but I was still the focal point. I was still busting my ass because my quarterback couldn't do nothing. Now he's going to Philly with Jalen Hurts, and they also have. Is Gainwell still there?
I don't think. I don't think.
Gainwell hadn't left, I don't believe.
So Gainwell's not there anymore?
Did he go Buffalo? Where did he go?
Kenneth Gainwell? Let's research department.
That's you.
Research department.
I'm doing my job.
Still there. Gainwell's still there. Lou Nicholas. Like
yeah, Gainwell's still there.
Okay.
Yeah, Gainwell's still there. All right. So you got Jalen Hurts who will run the ball plenty, and especially in yard to go situations.
Tush push, baby.
Unless they ban it this offseason.
They're gonna find a way.
Listen. All right. Jalen will run it. They have Gainwell who will run it. Saquon no longer has to bust his ass to make his team win. His ankles can fully heal.
The quads, man.
His giant quads can heal. Can get bigger. His giant quads can get bigger. All right.
Exactly.
This guy no longer has to be the workhorse. He can sit back, drink a little Mai Tai on the bench, and probably get to the NFC Championship game. this is just hypothetically speaking. I don't think this
hypothetically,
Philly team can.
hypothetically, that's like trusting Kellen Moore.
Well, listen,
to do
in
something.
the next 3 years, Philly might get back to get into contention. All right, this year they were pretty weak for a 11-win team.
They fell apart. They
Yeah.
collapsed. And you want to talk about the other part, Ryan?
Philly signing defensive end Bryce Huff to a 3-year, $51 million deal. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
They needed edge rushers. That pass rush was kind of meh this year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Like a lot of them took a step down. Like I think like Brandon Graham's still there, but like a lot of them took a step down. Like,
yeah, Brandon Graham, he just kind of falls off my radar a little bit.
Yeah, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, they
Yeah,
like a lot of that defense took a step back because like they lost both coordinators.
Yeah, and their secondary pass defense alone was just,
one of the worst.
Oh my god.
It was bad. I love
Slay was getting beat a lot.
No,
I mean
James Bradbury.
Sorry.
Bradbury was just awful. It was hilarious. It was funny to me personally, but it was bad. Yeah. Like why would you trust Matt Patricia with anything? That's my question. Now they're hot. Yeah.
He coached under Belichick, so
yeah,
it's the Belichick effect. Everybody thinks you're great.
Yeah, but now they hire a guy, Vic Fangio, who requires a lot of work with the linebackers and secondary, in which I think Philly's going to go with linebacker and secondary in this draft because that system needs those components together because they put a lot of pressure, but they don't really do blitzes.
Right. Yeah. That's a big issue too. They gotta apply more pressure. If your defensive line isn't doing its job, you gotta help it do its job. You gotta give it a little nudge, a little tush push on defense, if you will. Send a blitz package every once in a while, will you?
Exactly.
Jay, what are you thinking about?
Well, I mean, if you're going to go strong with running backs, then having a good defense makes sense. And 2 or 3 years ago, I remember Philadelphia having a really great defense. But as far as pass rushing, usually they just dominate Dallas on offense. But even Dallas looked wide open against Philly this year. So.
Yeah, a lot of teams looked wide open against Philly this year. Julie, what do you think?
It's interesting.
What makes it so interesting?
Just
that it's interesting.
Well, I'm interested by what the Eagles are planning and what they're doing. They're Super Bowl contenders and are making some interesting choices, but I just am looking forward to seeing how it plays out on the field. But definitely, I think they're one of the teams that's surprising me the most with their acquisitions.
Really? Yeah, actually, the Barkley thing really surprised me.
Yeah, and then Tiny Hands Pickett too.
Yeah. I don't understand that one. I don't understand. There was like 3 trades this week that were like, what the hell are you doing?
And then, who was Dak Prescott's brother, Tad, I think it is. He's the one. He's like, the Philadelphia Eagles are great. They're like the best franchise office. And then he got yelled at by like Stephen A. Smith or something like that about if you speak and you're related to a player, they'll think that you're saying the player's feelings or whatever. But I think a lot of people can acknowledge that they're looking strong.
Yeah, if they can shore up that defense, they can get back to being a serious contender.
I mean, yeah, they were in the Super Bowl last year, and they didn't get that far away from it this year. So I think that's an obvious one.
Yeah, I suppose. The Commanders landing themselves a running back, Austin Eckler, leaving sunny Los Angeles for Washington.
Yeah, another another team that's been surprising me quite a bit.
Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commander trying to clean a lot of the stink from Dan Schneider. So like they're trying to like at least try and build build a culture. Like running back, you sign Austin Eckler, we've been screwed over out from with the Chargers. Fine, he's gonna be he's a good running back. Like
I don't think he was screwed with the Chargers. It's just the fact that the Chargers didn't have room. They paid Herbert a ton of money. Okay, that's why Keenan Allen was traded. They had to pay Herbert.
No, not even Herbert. They literally had to restructure Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack.
Oh, they're gonna keep Mack.
They're trying to keep. They're keeping them because like they made all those deals 2 years ago. Like 2 years ago,
right?
And it's falling apart. But we'll talk about that later.
Right.
But the Commanders are making decent moves offensively and defensively.
Yeah, they just signed Bobby Wagner as well.
I know.
Yeah, like
to a 1-year deal.
Clearly,
again,
that is
that's a retirement. That's a retirement home move.
now, mind you,
simmer down, Jordan, and shut your mouth for a second, Ryan. And I'm gonna say that my attachment to Bobby is almost specifically because of his role as Legion of Boom, and he's really the last one. And so my attachment to him is because of that. And granted, he's getting older. I frankly don't want him to play that much longer because I want him to still be able to feed himself at 60. So, like, the CTE trauma has to end sometime soon. But obviously, I still want to see him out there as long as he wants to be. And the Seahawks got rid of him again after they traded him before. I'm like, whatever. Another decision I don't approve of by the Seahawks. Let me list all of those. But I'm excited. Hopefully he gets some good play time and decides to hang in those cleats. But the nostalgia for me is strictly because of the Legion of Boom, and I think a lot of Seahawks fans can agree with me that is a era that has been disappearing rapidly in recent years, and this is kind of like just one more. The Seahawks that we knew and loved that had made it to the Super Bowl, like the team is very much gone and distributed, and this was kind of a final nail, I think, for being who he was. So it was very significant. And then they traded us Sam Howell. So that's
if you really think about it,
Mhm.
you guys traded Bobby Wagner to Washington for Sam Howell.
Yeah. I mean, it's
a trade. It's not a trade.
It's not a trade, but it's a trade-off.
Wow.
The nostalgia is just like the last of the Japanese holdouts. Don't go, please.
Oh man. So let's talk about Dallas for a minute, will we? Eric Kendricks says "Soik" to the Niners and heads down south to Dallas for 1 year. Huh.
All in, baby. Jerry Jones said we're going all in. Eric Kendrick, baby.
So that means Dallas has signed a long snapper and a linebacker.
We're going all in.
They had to get in on the fun. They saw how much fun Philly, the Giants, and Washington was having, and they're like, man, that looks fun. I got to spend some money too.
I was going to say that they really had to plug up the defense because they did release Van Der Esch. I believe it was this week because he'd been hurt continually.
He's actually on border of retirement because of his injury.
Right, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, it's a neck injury that might cause retirement. So
he had a good first year and just wasn't the same.
Off and on, and the things I was reading was that when he went out the middle of last season, that they moved somebody in from the secondary to
Mhm.
plug up the linebacker hole. And the secondary just never looked the same the last half of the year. They were just getting torched.
Well, they
as
also
the
missed. They
season
were
went
also
on.
missing Diggs. So
They-
Trayvon was hurt with the torn ACL, so they really had to
Yeah.
scramble with that one. Bland played out of his mind, so. But
Yeah.
let's move on to the West. Go West, young man. Okay, nobody's Toby Keith fan. All right.
No.
I am.
All right, there you go, Jay. Jay's my dude.
I'm
Toby
near
Keith.
Nashville. I have to be.
Toby Keith is
It's in the state constitution.
Yeah, you're
R.I.P.
right. I read that one.
RIP to Toby Keith. Anyways, we're going west because Vegas is signing defensive tackle Christian Wilkins to a 4-year, $110 million, $84.75 million guaranteed contract. Man,
The Raiders. They're
Vegas.
Bro's
Bro's like,
French
no,
contenders, baby.
Bro's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to Vegas, where I can take my $110 million and just throw it down on blackjack.
Blackjack in the strip clubs, baby.
All right, that's enough.
But yeah, like Raiders, they're gonna be French contenders this year. Like
French contenders.
Frenches, like French
Oh,
contenders.
I thought you said French contenders. I was like, what the hell is
French. Like they're good. Like they're gonna be going for the wild card. Like that, you got like a British quarterback in Gardner Minshew, and I think they might go quarterback at least around the second round for the Raiders. If none of the other quarterback were taken. So yeah, I think Vegas is gonna do well. You're gonna do at least better than better than 2 years ago. Like they're gonna be decent, and their defense got improved.
Man, with Pierce being head coach, they just need a quarterback. Truthfully, and now they're gonna need a running back because they lost Josh Jacobs.
They'll find one.
I think they're gonna be about a 6-7 win team this year with what they got. 7 is very ceiling.
Yeah, 7 is their at least 7 or 8 for me is their ceiling. The floor is like 5.
Yeah, I think they'll go 4 at floor. But Jay, what's up with you, man? You what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that's an awful lot guaranteed for a defensive guy. I'm trying to think back.
Awful
I don't
high.
follow all the numbers, but 85 million guaranteed for a defensive lineman is pretty high of a guarantee.
A defensive tackle who's kind of, middle tier too, if we're really being honest.
But usually the guarantees are like around 50% or less on most of these guys. And that's 75, 80%, 75% guaranteed. So that's a big gamble on a guy in the middle of the career.
Absolutely. He's been around for a good handful of years. Yeah, I guess.
It's Vegas. That's true.
Julie, you want to
We've
wrap us
already been talking about this too long. I have nothing to add. We have talked this one to death.
Hollywood Brown goes to the KC for 1 year. Good job.
Awesome.
All right, let's move on.
Good deal.
Let's move on to the NFC West.
Let's go to the NFC West because we'll talk. Like, if we keep going with the AFC West, we'll just talk about how the Chargers are just gonna tank. Well, Denver's gonna tank. Chargers aren't gonna tank, but they're tanking.
All right, NFC West. Let's get it started. The Rams did a lot this week. They signed guard Jonah Jackson to a 3-year, $51 million contract. Also signed tight end Colby Parkinson, 3 years, $22.5 million with 15 guaranteed. I was confused on that one because the dude got buried in Seattle, so really never got to see what he did.
Yeah, we were talking about that one.
I think
in our own conversations, and
I think the Rams are trying to are quietly assembling one of the better lines.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to
because they're
see
trying.
because the Seahawks offense really doesn't use a lot of tight end interactions, but when he did play, he seemed to do mostly well. So
Well,
I look forward to seeing what he looks like in a different setting.
yeah,
That is promising to hear, Julie. Actually, thank you for that.
the Rams are quietly trying to assemble one of the better lines this year. Because they got Kevin Dotson, they signed Kevin Dotson. They got Jonah Jackson, who did well in Detroit. They still have Harvenston. I don't know who I don't know
Havenstein,
who their
yeah.
left tackle is.
They have
Harvestein.
Havenstein, and at left tackle is supposed to be Alaric Jackson, but
Yeah,
they're not sure on that.
But what about Steve Oliva? That's a question.
Oh yeah, Avila is going to be
Avila.
moving to center actually, from what I understand.
Yeah, they're trying to groom him up. They're trying to groom him up to be a center. So they're trying to, and I think the Rams are going to be contenders this year, along with Darius Williams and Cameron Curl, because their secondary was very weak.
Well,
You
yeah,
want to talk about
Witherspoon did well. He's actually the best one we had in the secondary, and he even got beat a bunch on the stretch. The tight end move, like Julie said, he's got a lot of potential. But 22.5 and 15 for potential is a little.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I wouldn't do
he's
it,
probably gonna be a placement when if Higby either retires or he's gonna be a tight end two that might transition into a tight end one. That's what I see. That's what I see.
Well, yeah, because Higby's gonna be out for the rest of the year. He's gonna be out for the year because he just had the ACL surgery. Thank you very much to what was his name? Kirby Joseph. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Again, defensive play. Calm down.
Yeah, real defensive. Yeah. So in a McVay system, the tight ends get used quite a bit, whether it's blocking, or even just in the flats and on the play action rollouts. He'll get used quite a bit, and he will be sharing time with Davis Allen, which is fine because Allen he proved he can play, but they ended up bringing Darius Williams back from Jacksonville on a 3-year, $22.5 million contract worth up to 30 with incentives and such. So they now have Darius Williams and Akilo Witherspoon on the outside, which is pretty good. Cameron Curl coming over from Washington, right? 2 years, 8.75 million, worth up to 12.75. So he's gonna be playing the back end. That's great.
Yeah, but my question for you, Ryan, is what do you think the Rams are gonna go cornerback in the draft?
In the draft? Oh, gee. I think they're gonna go edge first. They'll go edge first because they need someone on the other side, of Byron Young, and someone to take the pressure off of the conductor, Kobe Turner, in the middle. Yeah, especially now that Aaron Donald has retired. Aaron Donald announces his retirement yesterday after 10 seasons. Yeah.
One of the best defensive tackles I've ever seen in my life. He is literally LT without the coke.
But you have a monologue you wanted to do about him, Ryan?
Oh, I guess I didn't really have a monologue. I was just going to share some stats.
Yeah.
So he played 10 years, all for one team. Now that he's retired, by the way, Rob Havenstein is the last remaining player who's ever played in St. Louis on the Rams team. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2014 Defensive Rookie of the Year, 10-time Pro Bowler, 8-time First Team All-Pro, 111 career sacks, second most at defensive tackle, all-time leader in Rams history, one of 3 players to win 3 depoys, joining LT and JJ Watt. one of 2 defensive players to be selected to 10 Pro Bowls in their first 10 seasons. Also joining LT, Aaron Donald and Barry Sanders, only players to play 10 seasons and be selected to 10 Pro Bowls, one of 6 in NFL history to be selected to the Pro Bowl in each of their first 10 seasons. Super Bowl champion. Yeah. List goes on and on.
And if he gets insulted in a training camp, he got those 2 helmets, baby. He's like God of War. He's like Kratos. That's what he's crazy. I love him.
I have a really crazy stat for Aaron Donald. One last thing on him. Over the past 5 years, NFL average pass rush win rate against a single pass blocker was 17% for a qualified rusher. Aaron Donald posted an 18% pass rush win rate against double teams in that span, making him better against 2 pass blockers than the average pass rusher was against 1 over the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm. They had to triple block him. They were. I bet you some money. He was like, "Get my way! I'm getting that QB." Like when even Kyler Murray was like, "Thank God." He was respect. That was respect. That was respect to him. Geno Smith saying, "Oh my God," terrifying him.
So like the most sacked quarterback he has ever sacked was Russell Wilson.
No, Russ was probably looking at that phone like, "Oh my, thank you, Lord Jesus."
He has sacked, I think, 42 different quarterbacks. I want to say, and Russ was number 1 with 15.
It makes sense. They had a lot of plays all together. They were division rivals, and the Seahawks never gave Russell Wilson an O-line. So,
Rams owner Stan Kroenke said, "We are so grateful for Aaron's dedication to greatness and for leading our franchise on and off the field for the past decade. He has left his mark on generations of football fans, and his accomplishments, coupled with his work ethic and passion, continue to inspire his teammates, coaches, and athletes across the globe. It is a privilege to have witnessed one of the greatest players of all time, and we are proud that Aaron Donald will forever be part of NFL history as a member of the Rams." Choked me up a little bit. Stan never says anything. Yeah. First ballot Hall of Famer right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Kelsey first. Let's talk about Jimmy G, baby.
Jimmy GQ signs a 1-year deal to back up Matthew Stafford in LA. It's gotta be pretty awkward to back up the dude that beat you in the NFC Championship game.
No, it's funny though. One last paycheck, and then he can start an OnlyFans account.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, sorry, I forgot to remind everybody that he restructured Donald's contract was restructured just hours before he retired to save $9 million. So as his farewell, he said, "Here's $9 million, guys. I'm gonna retire." So
that's funny.
Yeah. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. We got Jimmy G with your money. Thanks.
He's a system QB. He would fit well in McVay's system. And if Stafford gets hurt,
yeah,
exactly.
Stafford. Well, with this new offensive line we got, I don't think Stafford will be seeing many defensive players on his face.
Exactly.
That was the plan, and that is an awesome plan. He's 36 years old, man, and he says he's not going to retire anytime soon. So
that's what they all say, Ryan. That's what they all say.
I guess. Jay, what do you think about the last 2 things that we've talked about?
Well, I mean, yeah, he was a great defensive player. He never got the press J.J. Watt did, even though he was a better player. And Sam Howell, I don't know that much about Sam Howell, but he kept it together for the Commanders, so he might be an addition somewhere else. He might get some playing time eventually.
Yeah, if Geno gets hurt, he'll have to play this year.
Mm-hmm.
No, then you'll see why I never really really saw a lot high on Sam Howell because he's the low end starter at best. That 2022 QB class is cooked.
I'm
Like,
not a hater of Howell. Maybe there's potential. I
not
mean, he
good.
was a dumpster fire of a team.
Man, I don't know, man. I don't know if he is good or bad. His team was just dreadful. Like he didn't have
Well,
any
it's a-
major weapons. His run game wasn't utilized. His offensive line was garbage. I know. Well, he was sacked the most out of anybody, and he had like 7,000 sacks taken last year. Come on.
I'm not. I saw enough of him tape him like he's just. I just don't see any good. He's a low end starter at best.
All right.
A mid starter at best. A mid starter
Okay.
at best.
Okay, I will give that to you, Jordan. That's your opinion. I don't know much about it. I just know that he had a terrible offensive line, and anybody who has a terrible offensive line, I don't blame them.
And we got to keep Tyler Lockett, and as every Seattle Seahawks fan knows how significant that is, even though he took a pay cut.
That's
oh my God,
selfless.
I am so happy he's gonna be back.
That's very selfless. That's selfless of him.
It's like it's like Stockholm syndrome. I'm staying for you.
Well, I don't think at his age and his size and everything that there's gonna be like a whole lot of other teams that would
Yeah.
pay what he's getting even now, but I do appreciate that he took the hit and is so willing to put his all, because one thing you can always say about Tyler is that he puts his all in every single game, no matter what it means, and no matter how that means he has to put his body on the line, he always steps up. So I really appreciate his
Yeah, he's killed us for a good decade. Seriously.
Mhm.
I've always respected Lockett, but like I hate watching him play the Rams because he just shreds us. You know?
Wow.
All right, anyways. Atlanta's dealing Desmond Ridder to Arizona, and you'll find out why. But they're getting Rondell Moore back in
Yeah.
return. So
Another weapon for Atlanta, and Desmond, and then it's 2 wins for Atlanta. They got a weapon,
Mhm.
and they got rid of Desmond Ridder. So they're free from they're free from the demon.
That's
They're
right.
free from Desmond Ridder.
They got rid of Desmond Ridder, the only quarterback that can make his receiver look like a defensive back intercepting his pass.
I
don't know if
really
you
feel like
2022 class is cooked.
I really feel like we should be hearing more from Arizona. They have a lot of work they need to do, like a tremendous amount, like basically everything. So the fact that we haven't heard a lot from them, like maybe they're just waiting, which is okay because not everybody has to do everything in the first week like we've had. But like they need a lot of work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they've been cutting some people, so like they're probably getting ready for the draft or at least later in free agency.
What do they have for draft picks though? I know
I
know they have a high pick.
I think that's the fourth overall pick.
Yeah, but what do they have for picks? Like stockpiled.
Stockpile wise, their fourth overall. At the fourth, they have Houston's first round pick.
So they have 2 first rounders?
They have 2 first rounders.
Well, that's good for them.
A second rounder, a third rounder. Tennessee's 7th round. I think Tennessee's 3rd round pick. Houston's third round pick. A 4th round pick, a 5th round pick. Houston's 5th round pick. Minnesota's 6th round pick. And Giants 7th.
Who'd they give up for the 5th round picks or the Houston picks?
I think the 3rd overall pick last year from Will Anderson.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Damn. Okay, well, it's time to head south. AFC South. All right. Jacksonville. Let's go over some of the moves Jacksonville did because they did quite a few.
Yeah.
Jacksonville traded for Mac Jones, signed Darnell Savage to a 3-year deal, signed kicker Will Lutz to a 3-year deal, signed center Mitch Morse to a 2-year deal, and they signed Gabe Davis to a 3-year deal,
Gabe Davis.
$39 million with $11 million on signing. How would you rate Jacksonville's offseason so far?
For me, it's a B because like a B minus ish because Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence was hurt during the late stages of last season, so like they need a quality backup. At least look more confident because like last year most of their backup quarterbacks were bad.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's that, and also see what Mac at least looks like with at least a decent offense because he played under Matt Patricia, Joe Judge, and Bill O'Brien. And once you can't survive that. You can't. So like they're basically saying,
no, you can't. You're right.
So they're basically saying, "Hey, Mac, here's a chance to be a backup. What can you do?" And he was decent like in his first year, but like it just fell apart.
I'm here for it. Let's see what he can do.
But yeah. So like they're gonna make him hold a clipboard, make Trevor look more handsome next to him, and yeah, defensively they were just underwhelmed. They're underwhelming. Like they had to cut like some secondary pieces. So Darnell Savage, Darnell Savage is a get for them. Kicking rise, McManus was meh. So 3 years for Will Lutz, really?
Lutz was in he was in New Orleans, right? Denver.
No, he was in Denver last year.
But he played for New Orleans, right?
Played for them for a long time. Mitch Morse, they're fixing their O-line for him because they're trying to make sure Trevor stays alive. And Gabe Davis, it's wide receiver 2 because Calvin Ridley was very meh. He was meh.
Well, Ridley's no longer there. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like last year, Ridley was like.
So okay, speaking of Ridley, let's kind of all right. Before we get on to that, Gabe Davis paired with Christian Kirk, that's gonna be very good. They also got Zay Jones too, so Lawrence has some weapons to work with. So yeah, their division rival Tennessee Titans signed Tony Pollard to a. Oh, goodness gracious, come on. Sorry about this. Signed Tony Pollard to a deal in Nashville for 3 years, $24 million. That's like $8 million a year, right? Yeah. They also signed Calvin Ridley, who chose money over Jacksonville. Signs a 4-year deal, $92 million with $50 million guaranteed. Mind you, Tennessee traded A.J. Brown because they didn't want to give him a $100 million contract. But they get Calvin Ridley, who has a betting issue.
And he's near 30.
Allegedly. And they're paying him almost $100 million. Couldn't really break that bank. Couldn't really give him $8 million more to give him 100 because they didn't want people to maybe talk trash about him. Gave him $50 million guaranteed. Jay, you're a Titans fan. Please take the reins on this.
Oh, sure. That's one of the things to where the new administration, Ren Carthon, used to be the GM out at San Francisco. Came here. He didn't have to apologize for the A.J. Brown trade, so he just goes in and spends the money on Calvin Ridley because Treylon Burks from a couple of years ago had not panned out.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other thing was that they basically stole them from, I believe it was Jacksonville was wanting him. They stole them from him because they had a trade in place, but they were going to have to give up a second-round pick as compensation. So they waited till he came out as being a free agent, and then the Titans outbid them for it because the Titans are in some dire straits with needing receivers.
Now, y'all got rid of Robert Woods last year, right?
Right. And they got DeAndre Hopkins, but he was older and he was about like you would expect. He'd be hit and miss.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question: how come y'all aren't spending this money on a quarterback?
They still believe in Will Levy.
Really? Okay.
They really do.
Yeah.
They believe in Will Levy. And also, he literally had no one to throw to last. DeAndre Hopkins was a good deep threat, but they didn't have a good every down receiver to throw
Right,
to.
right. Yeah, I can understand that.
So that's why they're giving him one, like they were talking about, giving him one more year. They'll get back in the quarterback business next year if he doesn't come through. Once they have an improved offensive line and better receivers around
That
him.
line was bad.
So
Yeah.
you guys, so Tennessee had Mariota. They moved on from him, got Tannehill in the 2019 playoff run, took out New England, ended Brady's run in New England. Tannehill's only gone downhill from there, in my mind, in my opinion, estimation. He's only gone downhill. You wasted Derrick Henry's career essentially because of poor quarterback play. I think you should have. I think you should have spent some money to get a quarterback or trade up, maybe trade away capital. You know, don't be afraid to make that move. It can turn out one of two ways. You can end up like Denver and bite the bullet and just release him 2 years later, or you can win a Super Bowl like the Rams did.
Do not do it like that.
I think
not do it like Denver.
I disagree with spending on a quarterback. You got to look at the Titans' offensive line, and their offensive line depth, it doesn't look good. They released like Andre Diller, but my question is, what my main concern is you're spending 50 million you're spending 50 million guarantee on a wide receiver 2 to be a wide receiver 1. That's a little concerning to me personally. Like it's basically like not the Christian Kirk contract because he's paying all right, but like still like it's very confusing to me. But yeah, I'll fix offensive line because your offensive line is basically besides Skoronski is Jalen Duncan. You signed Lloyd Cushenberry to be the center, Daniel Brunskill, and Dylan Rasna. You need offensive line.
That's true. We lost your only All-Pro from like 2 years ago. He retired. They haven't had an All-Pro there in 10 or 12 years except for him.
Taylor Lewan, right?
Yes.
Man, he was so good.
He was great. But he's the only stud they've had in the last decade.
Well, that offensive line was pretty damn good when Mariota was kind of ending his tenure there and Henry was kind of getting going. Was it not?
Yeah, that was 6 or 8 years ago. LeBron had another guy on the other side who was good, but never an all-pro level offensive.
Well, you guys also had Saffold. You stole him from L.A. After the 2018 season. Roger Saffold, right?
That's true.
He was good. He's very good in the run game. Man, it just seems like that was the time to spend that capital on a quarterback. Capitalize on that right there with Derrick Henry being at the top of his game. You had decent weapons on the outside. I mean, I'm not even Titans fan. That kind of irritates me that you just wasted that.
I really felt they held on to Tannehill way too long, at least 2 years too long.
You extended him.
Yeah,
exactly.
You extended him. You have poor draft picks after that.
That's like, why we have a new GM and a new coach. I'm agreeing totally with your take on that.
Yeah, so for me, when Tannehill, you guys beat New England in the playoffs, and he threw for 88 yards on 14 attempts, I knew that right there. I was like, oh, I know what they're doing now. They're running Henry into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That was a shame.
They had to.
But also, it would be good if they brought in a running back that could actually pass protect to help out.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone has either been Henry and all these scat backs, all these guys there as good pass catchers as they are runners. And Tony Pollard is in that mode. He's not like a great every down back. That Tajay Spears is a good every down
Mhm.
back, except that uh, he has no meniscus in his knee. I mean,
Mm.
Oh,
hmm
he has
wow.
no cartilage in his knee.
You don't need a meniscus. We learned that.
John
Okay,
Elway
well,
played without a ACL. I mean,
hmm
yeah, but
come on
that's
now.
where he's at. He had a great first year last year,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
I
yeah.
don't look at him as a long term solution. Maybe Pollard will be.
Probably. Like that's
Oh,
what I saw with that signing. Like Tajay Spears should as your running back number 2, Pollard number 1. Hope you get something out of him. And yeah, like it's a rebuilding year for the Titans for me. Like
Yeah. And even though Levy was like, he won the first round pick, they moved up on day one to pick him as the first pick of the second round. He's pretty
no, I
close to
think
a
that was
first round pick for them.
I think that was Pittsburgh that had like that second that was first. Then like after that it was him.
Yeah, you're
mm,
right. You're right. He was the second
hmm
pick of the second round. But they've given up some middle picks, fourth and fifth. You see, in this year they're missing a couple of picks because of the DeAndre Hopkins. They gave up like either a fifth or a sixth round pick for him.
mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, so they're
hmm
missing some middle round picks. So they really are just so focused on, like you were saying, getting some offensive line and giving Will Levy like 1 year behind a decent line and some decent running back help, hopefully.
Yeah. That's great take,
hmm
Jay. I like that. Good
hmm
insight. uh
Cross your fingers from the mayo man.
Indianapolis. Shut up, Jordan. Indianapolis re-signs Michael Pittman to a 3-year, $70 million contract with max value of $71.5 million and $46 million guaranteed. Does this really matter if he doesn't have a quarterback to throw to him?
Anthony Richardson, depending on Anthony Richardson, like Richardson had some showings and flashes, but like
Okay.
he needs to stay healthy. Like
Okay, I'll say it again, Jordan. Does it really matter if he doesn't have a quarterback to throw to him? His play
exactly.
last year was hit and miss, and I didn't trust it.
Yeah.
I hope he's not going to have this trend where he's just made of glass. But
Mhm.
last year he set a precedent where he's going to
He's
get
playing
that
a
late.
style that is that like really is like is raw. Like that's
Yeah,
what I saw. Like he has flashes, but like
yeah, absolutely.
it just like you have to depend on him to stay at least healthy.
Yeah,
Like and but
that's
other than
it.
that, I like the signing. Like they just need to like get everything going.
Yeah, it's true Colts fashion though.
hmm They kill the QBs. That's why they call
Yep,
it the Glue Factory.
yep. All right. So Joe Mixon, all right, he was planning on being cut by the Bengals last week. Turns out Houston had other ideas for him and said, "Hey, no. Let's just trade him to us." All right. So Bengals did that. They're like, "All right, that's cool. We'll send you Joe Mixon." Joe Mixon ends up getting rewarded for his patience with a 3-year, $27 million extension with Houston.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. So $9 million a year over the next 3 years, or however much. I don't even know how long he has left on his contract prior to the extension, but he's gonna be living handsome, more handsome than us, for sure.
Love, I like the deal for Houston because like Pierce has been fine, but he has been that he had that breakout year that
Well,
emerging running back.
they had Singletary last year too.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
showed out.
Mhm.
Mixon really gives. Wow, I'm blanking on the quarterback's name now. Who's the quarterback? Stroud. Yeah. Why did I blank on?
Like they're like Houston is making moves. Like they got Mixon to help with the run game,
Right.
which is very good to alleviate some pressure off of Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
They got Danielle Hunt. They got Danielle Hunter. They resigned Dalton Schultz to Canyon Fairbanks. Like they're making some moves to like at least try and maintain a hole in the AFC South. Because Stroud
they
is
should
him.
they should easily do that because of the fact that the South is just so
Bleh.
both South divisions are just bleh.
Mm.
Mhm.
You know, I don't look at the Jacksonville Jaguars should hold Houston, hostage for the not hostage. They should hold them against the
They
wall a
should-
little bit for
Mhm.
the division title. They'll battle.
Exactly.
They're gonna battle. They'll be in the
Mhm.
blue corner and ring the bell. But
Potentially, I'm hoping for blood wars. I'm hoping for like the old Coliseum battle. I want one winner. Like that's why I hope for the AFC
yeah,
South.
the AFC
But
South is
go
going to
ahead.
come down to two Warrior teams like the Jags and Texans. It's
Mhm.
plain and simple.
Yeah.
No offense to the Titans. We already said that they're going to be, rebuilding this year for sure.
Colts are
And the
are in
Colts
the, they're in the midst, but like
yeah. But this is a great deal. This is going to take pressure off of Stroud.
Mhm.
Mixon can run the ball. They have a very good offensive line. Their defense just needs to stay consistent.
Mhm.
That's it. I think Houston comes out of this with the division win. This move right here gets them at least one playoff win.
Yeah.
So, shall we talk about the NFC South now?
Let's go.
Oh my god.
Let's close out our let's close out our tailgate update free agency
Special,
extravaganza.
yes. Let's close her up.
Kirk Cousins is leaving cold Minnesota for hot Atlanta.
Okay.
Oh
He
my
just-
god, yes.
4
Oh
years, 180
God.
million. He is also the reason why Desmond Ridder is not there, just because of the fact that he signed a contract. So, what are our thoughts on Uncle Kirk going to Hotlanta?
I
Ooh,
heard somebody say that he was a better Ken than Ryan Gosling was, and I was like, I don't know that I disagree with that take. Except for Ken doesn't wear Kmart shirts, so kind of iffy on that part, but yeah, that's
Yeah, no, I'll take Ryan Gosling as Ken every day.
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Ryan Gosling is definitely
A snack, yeah.
he's somebody I'd like to be.
Exactly,
yeah,
same.
obviously. And
But
he's
yeah.
a snack.
Ugh. But yeah, for me, well, like the Falcons basically just got rid of the evil Desmond Ritter and the FPL son, Arthur Smith, for a guy that's coming up a major Achilles injury last season. That's going to be in his story for basically 2 years.
How old
Like
is Kirk? How old is he? Do you know?
35.
Kirk is 35?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell he has the dad shirts. Come on now.
I definitely thought he was like 33.
Like it's a big risk, but I 100% get it because that division you could take it with a quarterback. They need a quarterback. Like
Well, they were in the mix last year too.
they lost to the Panthers.
They could have won the division last year. They were in it up until week 16.
A team of flies could win that division. My God. Like,
but I'm
they
trying to
were
agree with you.
bad.
They needed a quarterback. If they had a
Mhm.
quarterback, they would have won that division.
Exactly, same. Like, but yeah, like it's a big risk, but like it's gonna be worth it because like they have all these weapons. They got Kyle Pitts, they got Drake London, they got Bijan Robinson. They don't have Jonnu Smith, which is thank goodness no more jet sweeps with Jonnu Smith. They have Algier at the winning back too. Like they have a lot of weapons.
Yeah, Robinson's gonna. I think he's gonna break out with the fact that Kirk can throw the ball.
No, that's a Kirk throw a ball. Like they might have competent offensive play callers that won't use him as a blocker.
Well, I'm saying he might break out more than he did this year because of the fact that Kirk can throw the ball and it's going to open up the run game.
Yeah.
You need to have competence on both sides, on the ground and in the air. Okay, that's how you open up your play calls. And now that he has a quarterback that can throw the ball that doesn't make it look like his receiver's intercepting it, he should be all right.
That and Kyle Pitt fantasy owners are finally happy.
They'll be able to catch a touchdown in America. Jay, what do you got for us, bud?
I mean, it's kind of a seismic shift more for the North than for the South. Because, I mean, Atlanta's just not been very good. And eventually New Orleans is going to have a good year. They've
Let's
got a
go.
decent.
They're in football
They've got,
hell.
they've got a decent coach, and it's like the
Okay,
last 2 or 3
that's
years has been
stretch. No, we're gonna have to disagree on that one.
okay. And eventually, things have to break right for New Orleans.
I
They're in
asked a
football
question.
hell.
Yeah, so New Orleans is in cap like purgatory. They don't know what they're doing. They're always in the red. I asked a question a couple weeks ago. Why haven't they just blown it up and started over?
Cap hell.
Cap hell, yeah. Blow it up, start over. Eat the dead cap this year. Come back to it next year. You know what I mean?
Because they have a bad head coach. Oh wait.
That comes in the front office too.
Make you Lumen. Maybe they're run by their complacency, man. Like complacency. Like
So, speaking of NOLA, they cut dead weight in Michael Thomas today.
Which I believe doesn't sound like a huge deal unless you're aware of the climate in New Orleans.
Michael
but the
Thomas
way he lambasted that Times-Picayune reporter last week, and his recent behavior that has landed him on our true crime segment more than once. This is a big deal, okay, because he was sort of loved, sort of a lot of potential, and then he kind of blew it up in
injuries.
an Antonio Brown sort of way. Yeah, but not just injuries, but also just holding out on surgeries. Like, it was a lot going on. And so to see him finally go, I think is a pretty big deal for Pelican State people. So let me know if y'all feel that way, but that's what I've been getting from media in that area. I don't live in New Orleans anymore. I did for like 10 years, but it seems like it's really significant. And I think most people are ready to see him go, but there's sort of a yearning for what could have been.
I forgot he's in the league, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to be pretty specific
I-
to the location to care.
Yeah.
Well,
Cap hell.
he was doing great in 2019. Like, he set the record for receptions in a season in 2019.
Yeah, that's why he was so important.
After that, I just forgot he was in the league. Like, he just been hurt. He was hurt. He's been hurt for like 3 years.
Yeah. It's for me, it's a sign that they're still gonna be they're in football hell. Like they're rather be complacent than actually, move on and improve. Like they're restructuring a good chunk of their contracts. To like get like, oh wow, you have 15 million in the cap this year. What about next year? Like you're still gonna be in this cap purgatory until there's actual change, and I doubt that, because they have access. They still have clowns in their coaching machine. The roster is aging. They are literally paying guys that are still they're going to be in the mid 30s, mid late 30s. Like they're in hell. Like
yeah, they are. They are, Jordan. You're right. And we saw Tampa Bay and LA do it this year. They ate dead cap so they can have cap room this year. It's
I'm
not
obsessed
hard.
with Tampa Bay keeping Baker Mayfield. We all know the article where I said I'm a Baker Mayfield stan, and I'm proud of it, that I wrote for the Forkball. And so to see him stay, I was just...
Oh yeah, Carolina. They are trying to improve their offensive line with Robert Hunt.
Just signed Robert.
Talk about that.
Robert Hunt, 5 years, $100 million with 63 guaranteed.
Panic mode.
Oof.
They're desperate to try and make Bryce Young. They're trying to protect Bryce Young because
they have to.
Exactly. Like
you gotta protect your quarterback, man.
Yeah.
Gotta protect him. Simple as that.
Yeah, they're in panic mode. And David Tepper is basically trying to become Dan Snyder's 2.0.
Well,
yeah.
So we've been at this for about 2 hours, so maybe we close it up with any last thoughts, any last trades, maybe.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield staying in Tampa for 3 years, $100 million with $50 million guaranteed. Good for Baker. Earns it. Finally found his forever home, I think.
It's gonna be like Drew Brees, baby. Like
For him.
he should have won. He should have won comeback player of the year. Play all. I think all 18 games.
Where did Joe Flacco go? We never discussed him.
Colts.
Colts.
That's exciting. Hope we see more of him. Love that story, as we
Mhm.
mentioned before.
And also, they re-signed Mike Evans.
Right.
Tampa Bay. They're going to probably win that division again because
Oh,
they still have that
yeah.
offense. They still have that decent offensive. Like they're at least the most well balanced team in that division.
It's really not hard, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So let's call it a day, guys. What do you think?
Well, let's talk about our guests and their social medias, where they're writing,
Yeah.
all of those good things.
I was getting to that, Julie.
Yeah, and I'm cutting you off because you're slow. And then also, if fans, let us know, comment, like, subscribe, ding, turn on the notifications.
Well, they're not gonna now because you're mean to me.
Yeah, right. And just let us know, what are your takes on our hot takes on the trades? Do we forget somebody important? You know, tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what's on your mind. But gentlemen, please, tell us where we can find you. Jay first, because you're a first timer. So
Okay. My moniker on X or Twitter is Ajax Allen. At obviously at Twitter. And I write very occasionally for the Forkball about public golf.
woo.
Really? Public golf.
Public golf, yes.
Can you give us a rundown on what that is?
Any place where you don't have to be a member is
Oh,
public
so
golf.
it's just like
Ah.
Joe Schmo can show up with his work boots and a cutoff and just go out and play.
Absolutely. You just pay the greens fee at the little cabin, and then you're off with your clubs.
I played a course like that. You can be
Yeah,
a member.
there's lots of them. I know people that belong to country clubs, but none of them close enough to invite me. So
Awesome, Jay. Jordan, you want to tell our fans about you?
All right. You can find my Twitter at JCRamos6898. And my at 6898. You can find my TikTok. I make some TikToks occasionally, especially with the NFL at JCRamos79 for some reason. And I sometimes write for Defiant Takes Football. Hope you catch an article. I'm definitely going to go back to the writing scene soon because I'm having a lot of writer's block, but hey, that happens. That's life.
It does.
Yeah.
Definitely, Jordan is being very humble about his TikTok, but he's kind of a big deal over there, and he has some really funny stuff. Similar to Jay is hilarious on Twitter. Not that Jordan is, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
definitely check those out for our
yeah,
guys.
if anybody wants to make new enemies on Twitter, just follow me, and you can get in the mix. I'm not anyone's number one enemy, but I'm working my way up the charts. So there you go.
Love that.
Hopefully, Jay. Hopefully. No. They'll just mention Memphis sports, and you'll be in your corner crying.
I will.
Don't worry, old man Jay. We still got you.
Yeah, I was going to say I want to shout out Tony Pollard, who went to high school in Memphis, played college ball in Memphis, and now is up the road playing pro ball in Nashville. I dare any other pro athlete to top that. That's pretty local.
Yeah, absolutely.
I commend your commitment to the place that you live, because I've lived enough places that I don't have any kind of devotion like that, but I appreciate yours. Your ever dying commitment to bring up every Tennessee connection ever.
I'm a homer. I don't apologize.
Love that. All right. Well, I think that's it for our extravaganza, gentlemen. And we will see y'all, and we'll make sure to have our guests back because we know they're the best part of the show. So Thank you, gentlemen,
Absolutely.
for coming. All
Mhm.
right. Let's wrap her up.